Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning and welcome. It's Nurse Richard the Wax Wizard. Here's something you haven't seen in one of my videos before. You've probably already spotted it, haven't you? So yeah, I've got a new tool. Well, I say new. I did actually used to use these a while ago. I used it's a Cawthorne Hook. I'll explain a little bit later about those. But what I used to use them a few years ago, but I never really found one that I was happy with, really. So I reached out to some guys at ChefMed. Thank you to Alan for sorting this out. This is a custom-made Cawthorne Hook. And I think it might be well made from the same mould that Connor got his from, because I saw that one. I thought, do you know what, that looks like the perfect one. So can you make me one like Connor's? So we did. So many thanks to Alan at ChefMed for that. And the reason why I not fell out with them, it's really rare that you come across anything that you really need it. And this is a perfect example of it, because it's absolutely rock solid. Now you can usually do those with a standard hook. Some you just can't, just because of how hard it is. I mean, it's absolutely like a brick. And unfortunately, this chap did find this quite uncomfortable, not because of what I was doing, because of how his wax was, and you'll see at the end why. So the reason why this was, you might just be able to see underneath this plug here. This was the one that he found quite uncomfortable. Because it followed the curvature of the ear canal. So it's not straight, this piece here. So as I was trying to pull it forwards, you could kind of feel the curved edge as it's coming up, possibly round the very last bend, that it was kind of grazing along the side of the ear canal, which is very sensitive. And this thing, not the hook, but the plug itself was so dry and it had lots of sharp edges on it. And yeah, it was quite uncomfortable for him. Which is kind of inevitable. It's kind of difficult to avoid that when you've got a plug like this that is so hard and dry with all these sharpened edges. And he was very nervous as well, but very, very keen to get this out, because it was causing him a whole heap of problems. I think he had also tried some home devices. I want to say it was one of those, like looks like a corkscrew with like a rubbery end with a thread on it. Now, it obviously hadn't helped in the slightest, because as soon as he put it in, it was instantly very, very painful. So he stopped, thankfully. So he didn't push it in further than he needed to. But it was never going to work with something like this. It was never going to dig in. Speaking of digging in, that's why this one is really good, because obviously this is a lot smaller and a lot sharper than the standard hooks. It is very brittle, this though. You can just see it just break through that. So I'm trying to negotiate it to the other side, see if I can find another spot to dig it in. But again, because of the patient discomfort, I'm trying to be ultra careful and cautious. So yeah, I'll give you a rough. I've got some still images of these tools after, so you can get a rough idea. But that's how big my pen is. That's how big. I don't know if you can make these out. I'll put my hand behind it. That's the hook, the standard hook. And this is the size of the Cawthorne Hook, which is absolutely minuscule. And I've got some comparison images of it, along with with my pen, the standard St. Bart's hook, Neil's rye hook, and also this Cawthorne hook at the end. So you'll see all four of those things together, so you can get some comparison and get some appreciation of just how little these things are. Now, I was hoping that was coming then, but you could just see it just broke through. So what I decided to do was put some oil in to see if that helped with the discomfort. It did to some extent, but it was still a little uncomfortable. You can just see to the right-hand side of that, the bottom area there. Now, that's been pulled forward, I suspect, from just in front of the eardrum. This is a big thing, this. And it's why it's uncomfortable is that bit at the bottom there. There it is. Can you just see it? It was kind of brushing along the base of the ear canal, and that's what he found uncomfortable. I had a couple of piercings on here, which didn't help make it any easier either. Now, you do see a lot of these tools. used in the Far East in those type of videos. And the reason why it's not used much for Europeans is, or traditionally Western ears. Western ears are usually a bit more moist, a bit wetter. It's very dry, the wax. In the Far East, it's all down to genetics. But more so, a lot of those procedures you'll see using those hooks, are generally done, a lot of the time it's done under anaesthetic. And obviously this is not done under anaesthetic or numbed in any way, so you want to be careful about putting sharp metal tools in there when that's the case. And they usually have somebody, assistants, like pulling the ears open as well, so it's a lot safer. So there's the hook, along with mine. Just like my new ruler, by the way, the shark ruler. So yeah, the top one you can see is the standard hook, and then you've got the rye hook, and then you've got the Cawthorne hook underneath that. So you can just appreciate the size of that thing, and it's why it's perfect for something like that, which is absolutely as hard as our bullet. But it came out a very unhappy ear canal, as you probably saw afterwards, but hopefully that should soon settle down. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, found it interesting, something a bit new. Might be making an appearance in a few more videos to come, who knows. And once again, thanks to the guys at Chef Med, particularly Alan, for sorting that one out for me. But for now, take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Ta-da.